Hello guys, it is the Gaming Weasel back with another video. So in today's video I'm gonna be doing my honest overview and my view of the new Warframe Gara that just came out a couple of days ago, and showing you my setup with her. A couple of disclaimers: my setup is most about damage dealing. You do not have to copy it. You can, you don't need to. Now the Warframe is mostly based upon doing damage and crowd control. Pretty decent Warframe. Stats of the health, armor, and shields will be up here. Well, you're gonna see them on the screen now. Pretty decent stats, not anything to, write home about, but nonetheless quite good. Now, the first ability is Shattered Lash, which fires a projectile, well, a sword, at your enemies. Now, holding the actual ability is gonna be you're gonna like swing that sword around in an arc of 180 degrees and 0.75 meters, if you want to go into detail with the numbers. Pretty decent ability, benefits from power, strength, and that's mostly it. Now, having steel charge on it could help out, but it doesn't really matter what kind of melee weapon you're using, so it will not benefit from, for example, having Galatine Prime or any kind of good melee weapon. Now, the second ability is, let me just, Splinter Storm. It's ability that you cast on your teammates or even on your enemies. That will self-inflict damage to those enemies and have a damage reduction depending on how much power strength you have on there. Now, of course, damage over time, benefited from duration and what's it called? Strength. Now, range, of course, is kind of important for this one, but I'm gonna get into range a little bit later on. As I said, all of her abilities are really, really good abilities. I have to say, I love the, variety of abilities. And the third ability, Spectral Rage, casts a little area of mirrors where your cursor is, depending on your range, I guess. Depends on how much mirrors you're gonna cast. Now, for example, if you have max range, you're gonna have 12 mirrors, which is the maximum amount. And of course, duration is very important here as well, and damage. Now, I do have stretch on my actual build, which is quite good, and it will help out a little bit. What this ability does, of course, I have to say that as well, does damage to enemies. So, virtually, the enemies shoot the mirrors, they do this damage to themselves when the mirror gets destroyed. When a certain amount of the mirrors get destroyed, and the mirror, like the circle, explodes, doing radius damage, so area damage, I guess. And that's cool as well. Benefited from, of course, strength, range, and duration, as I said. And of course, her fourth ability and her main ability, Mass Vitrify, spreads a circle of glass around, and at a certain point, it actually stops. Now, the height of the actual, mirrors, or glass, is 4 meters, which is decent, but not that high. Now, anyone that gets caught by this freezes, so the enemies slowly freeze after time, and they stay still. After a certain time, when the mirror actually ends up, it explodes and does certain damage. Now, if you actually shoot the Mass Vitrify wall that's frozen up with your first ability, it's gonna explode and do radius damage. Now, depending on your duration, depends on how big the circle is, and of course, depending on your range, that's also gonna affect the range of the circle itself and the explosion range as well. Now, of course, it is benefited by all three. As I said, range, duration, and strength are really important with this Warframe. Now, it goes like this. When you cast it, for example, it should take around 75 energy, and then it's going to take a certain amount of energy per second. So you're going to need primed flow, or I guess even max flow on her to actually benefit from this last ability. Now, what I usually put on it, well, you already saw what I put on it. I put strength mostly because it is a damage dealing Warframe, and it is mostly around dealing damage. By the way, the wall that you cast with your fourth ability is non-impenetrable, so your bullets can go through, but the enemies can't. And also, enemies cannot walk close to you, can't pass that wall. It's not like Frost's Globe when, for example, Frost's Globe actually blocks bullets, and you can shoot through it, which you can do as well with this Warframe, but the enemies can pass through it. It's different with this glass wall, so that's quite cool. And as I said, crowd control, you can create yourself a little small area where enemies cannot reach you. Of course, if there are flying enemies, then you're a little bit fucked because, as I said, it's not a globe, it's just a wall. So, of course, flying through the above the wall works pretty big wonders. Uh, by the way, there's a thing, I guess her passive, when she stands in a bright light, she has a chance to actually blind enemies for in range of 12 meters for 10 seconds and expose them for melee finishers. So quite good. Now that's mostly all I have to say for this Warframe. Nothing really special. Really decent Warframe. You can see in the gameplay how she works. It is a decent Warframe, decent abilities as well. My build, you probably saw it by now, depending on when I placed it in the actual video. But yeah, nonetheless, Gara, should you buy her? Shouldn't you? I prefer you should. I mean, it's a pretty decent Warframe. You can see by her abilities. I'm not gonna decide for you. You can decide for yourself. So this has been a Gaming Weasel. Hope you guys enjoyed. If this was helpful in any way, shape, or form, I would appreciate a like, a comment, and subscribe. That always does help. Check me out on Steam, Facebook, and there's Twitter in the description below if you want. And that is mostly it for me. This has been the Gaming Weasel, over and out.